Becoming a good artist isn't hard, it just takes time. I want you to think about every single one of your favorite artists. Notice how none of them, well, mine for example, are my age. They've got at least 20 years on me. And experienced artists who are my age, 9 times out of 10 started way earlier than I did. Anyway, from what I've learned, if you want to become a better artist, just grow up. Hey, hello, hi, I go by Versxllz. That's Versxllz. Or you can just call me Victoria. Okay, I know I haven't been posting any videos on here for the past 6 months, but while I was away, I learned a lot. I experienced new things, good and bad. My art style has changed. I started making more original pieces, and I've met new people. My perception on life and how I view the world has done a complete 360. Turns out I'm turning 18 in a month and a half. And if the New York Times took a look at my life from December 2023 up until now, they'd probably call it the best coming of age film that they'd ever laid their watery eyes upon. It's been a roller coaster. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on here. I'm still new to this, but I've been through a lot of that a 17-year-old girl should never have to go through. Like I've said before, these experiences changed my whole perspective on life and showed me why it's so important to continue to persevere and not let anything destroy you and your mental health to the point where you'd give up on all of your aspirations. My friends, this is what it's like to grow up. Now I know you're asking, Victoria, what does this have to do with art? Well, it has everything to do with it. Whether you're a concept artist, photographer, musician, digital artist, etc., etc. Some people don't make it to the growing up part due to deciding to seep into this rut of, oh, I'm never gonna try again, my life sucks and there's no way I'm gonna get out of this, which is extremely hard to get out of, by the way. And they refuse to stop comparing themselves to other artists instead of taking out the time to learn more about themselves and what sparks their creativity in them, and they just become, well, drained. And I'm not bashing them, it's completely understandable. I've been in this situation multiple times, but I persevered. Now, persevering isn't as easy as I'm making it sound. It takes a lot of willpower and a little push from maybe a breakup or a friendship that you realize wasn't good for you until after it was all over. Maybe you meet someone who brings out the best in you and teaches you to value yourself and the work that you put so many hours into. Maybe it involves taking a break from everything social media and just stepping outside or taking the time to really conquer the issues that you've put off for so long. Maybe it involves stepping away from art and focusing on yourself. Because what some people fail to realize is that although you can make art that's separate from your personal life or create something that you consider to have no meaning, it's still an extension of you regardless. Your mental state shows in your artwork. It affects how well you produce it or the motivation to even do it at all. Growing up is realizing that some artists are going to be better than you. Some artists are going to have more exposure than you. Some artists are just born with the gift to create and you just happen to develop that gift later on in life. Growing up is accepting the level of skill that you have now and giving yourself patience to improve. There's no rush. People who've supported your journey, even when you felt like you were at your lowest, are the only views and likes you should really care about. Growing up is allowing yourself to explore new techniques and not bullying yourself for the mistakes you make along the way. We're humans. We shouldn't let perfectionism hinder us from the things that could possibly turn into something beautiful. Art is subjective, and just like us young girls and guys tend to compare ourselves to these influencers and beauty gurus on Instagram and TikTok, I'm starting to notice the same trend in the art community. It's not healthy, and we don't have to be that way. With the next art piece you see that's just wonderful and has gotten so many likes and shares, instead of comparing your art to theirs, try to be empathetic and ask yourself, what did it take for them to get to where they are now? How much did they learn and experience over time in order to create something so detailed and perfect? How can I learn from this? I created this piece with no expectations. I just felt like creating something, and I knew I wanted it to be mine. I learned this from one of my favorite artists, Versxllz. In his recent video titled "What's the Point of Making Art Anymore?" he briefly talks about reminding yourself of what led you to be an artist in the first place. He basically makes a valid point stating that your art shouldn't be objectified as just content, but something that brings happiness and peace into your life. Labeling it as content, even passively, ruins the original purpose of it all. It makes it less fun for you and it becomes a chore or a job. And for people who make a living off of their artwork that think this way may tend to see their skill level spiral downwards or even begin to like the mindset that made their business transpire into what it is now. What? Versxllz is getting canceled for using AI? Well, saving that for another video. I guess this is what happens when I get off social media for a while. Well, anyway, I intend to make this channel a safe place to talk about my journey as an artist and possibly build a community of people to share their thoughts on different experiences. I think that now that I'm in a more stable environment and better mental state than I was in the last video, y'all are going to receive more from me. I hope that this, podcast was pretty comfy for you, and here's the finished piece. I call it the chair. It does have a little bit of meaning behind it. I'll leave it up for interpretation. But yeah, if you want to see more videos like this from me, I might start a podcast. I don't know. See you later. Until next time. Goodbye.